Hi guys, so we're on our last day of this chapter. We're on page 124 and we're looking at how directed numbers are used in history. Okay, so recording of history has one central point that we use, to be perfectly honest, to record history, and that is we record 0 as the year that Christ was born. So we're currently now, the date we're in now is in 2020. So we're 2020 years after that date. 2020 years after that date, right? So the two ways we look at before that date and after that date is BC means before Christ. So all the years before Christ. And then AD means Anno Domini, which means basically after Christ was born. So, if we were doing it in English, we'd say AC, but it's AD. So AD is anything. So we're in 2020 AD now, after Anno Domini. All right, so we're after that time. But a lot happened before Christ was born as well. So that's where prehistory, or not prehistory, but the history is recorded as well as coming out from 0 back in that direction. So for instance, interesting facts in history. The wheel was invented 3,500 years before Christ was born. Pyramids in Giza built by the Egyptians 2,560 years before Christ was born. Earliest coins 650 years before Christ was born. Julius Caesar assassinated 44 years before Christ was born. Okay? And then we look on the other side. St. Patrick in Ireland, 432 Anno Domini after Christ was born. Vikings in Ireland, 795 years Anno Domini after Christ was born. And then World War II begins 1939 years after Christ was born, which is 1939, the way we record it. Okay? So there's just some questions around that. They're getting you to look at that and understand that 0 is the point you're going from. These are kind of like the negatives. These are the positives, really. Okay, so, and the negatives in this point are called BC and the positives are called AD. Okay, so which is the historical events are the earliest and the latest? Okay, so on this particular timeline, which is the earliest? So the earliest is always going to be the negative down as far as we can in the negative, which is the wheel invented, right? 3,500 BC before Christ was born. And then the latest times, this is the latest, 1939, World War II begins. Okay, so the earliest, this is the latest. All right, how many years were there between the assassination of Caesar and St. Patrick coming to Ireland? Okay, so here we go. Assassination of Caesar was 44 BC, so we've 44 years before 0, and then we've 432 after that. So we have to add 44 to 432 and we get 476, isn't it? Yeah, 476 years between those. All right. So you just work your way through those, guys, and then, you'll have to work out those times like that there. They're asking you all those different times. So just go through those slowly as you and just refer back to your timeline at all times. Then when we go back down here, it says, discuss if the following structures were built before or after the birth of Christ. Complete the table. So Newgrange, Passage, Tomb, County Meath, built about 3,200 BC. So we already discussed that BC is like the negative line. Before Christ is considered like the negative line, and after Christ is considered the positive line. So let's have a look. So if it's 3,200 years BC, it's minus 3,200. Let's have a look at this. Colosseum in Rome, built around 80 AD. So Anno Domini after Christ. So that's plus 80. All right. And I'm going to give you one more. The Eiffel Tower in Paris, built in 1889, 1889 years AD, which is Anno Domini, which is plus, so plus 1889. All right, work that out as well, guys. You do the rest of it there as well, and then they're asking you to find how many years between. So that's your Friday work, guys. I'll put some extra stuff there as well if you'd like. But give it a go, see how you get on, and slán.